My girlfriend
Hello,
got me
everybody, and
this.
welcome to Duval Thursday number 6. Yeah, that's right. You found us again. Yeah, we're back at it.
Yes,
Like the crack addict on the corner of your drive. Anywhere you're going, they're trying to
especially
spit.
in Duval.
Oh man, they're bad out here. But we're out here. We're going to be talking about your favorite team, the Jacksonville Jaguars, all podcast long. And specifically, we're going to be talking about the draft and what they should be doing based on available talent pools.
Yeah.
But before we get into that, you guys have done amazing with hitting the like goals. Last week we didn't get quite there, but you guys are still the only show out there that has hit them. So let's try to keep that happening. Like goal this episode, we're going to keep it as the same as the last episode, 15. Let's get 15, folks.
Do it.
Let's do it. Also, we're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel, so please help us be a part of, or you can be a part of that by helping us get to 1,000, and that'll help us get in front of more and more Jags fans, which is what we want ultimately. Now, don't
How
let
many are
the
we at, Curtis?
we're at 329 as the time of this recording.
We need more.
We do,
Duval Nation. Let's like and subscribe.
and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future content. But without any further ado, let's get into it. So, the Jags have, as we prior discussed before the pod, have four needs going into this draft that are either like depth fills or, somebody you're looking to start, not necessarily even this year. So I think there's a little bit of a lack of urgency from the Jaguars in this draft in the sense of like they don't need to use all of their draft capital. They could probably use it to move up, make 3 or 4 selections during the entire draft process, and either
Yeah.
set them up with more draft capital in the future, or
Yeah.
just use it as bait to get the picks that they want when they want, and move up and down that lineup. So we those positions are guard, tight end, corner, and strong safety. As Rashawn Jenkins is in the final year of his deal, Evan Ingram is 31 and on a 1-year deal again. And the cornerback room, as I think we've mentioned before on this pod, the Jags are pretty good at drafting cornerbacks historically. So I would argue that the most pressing of all of those would be guard and potentially corner. So let's get into the guards first. What what do we got draft wise for the guards?
I doubt he falls to. Doubt he falls to 24, but I mean potentially Osiris Torrance at 24. I don't see any reason to trade up for him with dudes like Voorhees and Chandler Zavala sitting back there. I mean, they're all relatively comparable in terms of size. Voorhees is a little bit skinnier. Um,
And of course,
well,
Voorhees won't be playing more than likely this season.
well, he'll come back this season.
He
It's
tore
an
his
AC.
ACL in
Yeah,
March.
it's an ACL tear. What do you mean? People coming back in like 6 months from that now.
I don't know about
Yeah,
6 months.
shoot, you're crazy.
9 months is more of realistic, but
Ah.
still not always possible.
Odell came back in 6 months and tore it again. So there's whatever. Now he's making 15 mil guaranteed up to 18 million. Good lord.
Yeah.
Anyways, I mean, even so, we're not exactly like scratch and claw. Go Jags. At that position, anyways, we've still got Ben Barch, who's going to be healthy after he's recovered. Tyler Shatley is serviceable. We've got actually, do we have Shat back? Let's get back to you on that one. We signed a couple of depth pieces for O-line too, though. We got Josh Wells back. He's going to be our swing tackle now. So we've got some depth at O-line. It's not exactly a huge need. So that's why I'm thinking like if we can snag Voorhees like in the 3rd round, which is where he's projected, I think, or maybe even 4th potentially due to the whole ACL thing. I think he'd be a great pickup with our third round pick if he's still there, like I've mentioned multiple times on the pod. Andrew Zavala out of NC State's kind of nasty too. I like him. NC State guys are coming out pretty strong here lately with like Iki Kawanu and all those guys.
Yeah.
I say that as if there's a bunch of other ones, but it's fine. Um, but yeah, I mean those are the big three for me right now. Of course, there's going to be some other dudes we might be able to pick up like fourth or fifth round that are going to be decent. Kind of the problem is though we start getting to the some people who are lighter in the ass, and then people that are a little too big for guard. Personally, I mean you got guys like guard out of Alabama, Emil. Oh, good lord, I'm gonna Junior. We're just gonna call him Junior. Um, he's 314, so he's solid, but he's 6'2". I
Mm.
mean, it's not exactly terrible, but when you have guards now that are 6'5", 300, same weight, a little bit taller, a little bit longer arms, it's something you look for. Nick Broker, he's 6'4" out of Ole Miss, 305 though, he's a little light in the ass. Then you got dudes like Jackson Kirkland, 321, 6'7". Like you're too big. Like maybe we can. I mean, he ran a 5.34. You can actually move for a big guy. Okay, maybe we can switch him over to right or right tackle a little bit or something. Who knows? Anyways, getting off topic here. There's definitely some people in the draft, but if we can't get Torrance, Voorhees, or Zavala, I don't want to see us touch the position in the top 5 rounds. Just not a reason to unless we like trade back and get a bunch of picks and we snag one of those other guys. But I mean Zavala at 6'5", 325. He's pretty comparable to Torrance. He's got basically the same speed. He didn't have as good of a career, but I mean he was a little bit undersized originally, and then he put on some real bulk during the offseason. So just a position of need, but not one where we're
Dying
crying.
to get it.
Yeah, we're not crying for it. If we get one, awesome. If not, it is what it is.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that brings us to the second position. That would be cornerback. And obviously, the top three names are pretty well talked about so far in this draft. Devin Witherspoon, Christian Gonzalez, and Joey Porter Jr. Those are probably going to be... I would venture to say that at least Gonzalez and Witherspoon are off the board at 24.
I sure hope not.
I know
they're going to be, but...
Yeah. And then you got Joey Porter Jr., who would probably be a pretty good fit there. Let's see how old he is. He is 22.8 years old.
0.8.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, I like the extra decimal. It's pleasing to the eye. But obviously, outside of who his dad is, who was an accomplished linebacker for the Steelers and Eagles, this is they're saying he's a mid-first round selection, Joey Porter Jr. So
Yep.
he would be a little on the fence about being there available at 24. But, I mean, let me get to his 40 and stuff.
4.46, 6'2", 193.
Yeah.
Pretty prototypical size corner, especially with how they're getting them nowadays. You got, Christian Gonzalez at 6'1", 197 with a 4.38. One name that's kind of been thrown around a little bit would be Emmanuel Forbes in the second round, out of Mississippi State. He's a little small in terms of weight. He's 6'1". He's 166.
That is small.
But he runs a 4.35, and he doesn't really have a record of getting hurt, as far as I know. And he has, he's pretty aggressive when it comes to the ball. I mean, he can jump with anybody. He's pretty aggressive when it comes to breaking down routes, but he gets beat on double moves because of that. What the hell that was? But it's dead now. But I mean, once he gets into an NFL program, though, with the offseason, they'll be able to put like 15, 20 pounds on him and keep that 40 time the same. So I'm not really too worried about the weight, but at the same time, I kind of am. It's kind of like a Devonta Smith type deal where, they're a phenomenal athlete. Devonta Smith's not quite that fast, but it's like they're just so small, you're scared of it,
Yeah.
Weirdly enough, Keely Ringo has been falling. Like he was originally supposed to be like a top 15 pick, and now he's just been falling and falling. Witherspoon, of course, up top. But yeah, I don't really see us getting anybody in the first round out of those top three besides maybe Porter Jr., even if we like traded up a little bit. But kind of a problem right now is we've got Darius Williams, who are paying a lot of money, and he wasn't very good in the slot. So I think we play whoever we pick in terms of a DB, whether it be a corner or a safety. Um, I think we play him in the slot for at least a year and then move him outside if they're a corner or move him back if they're a safety when Jenkins and Williams both leave.
Yeah. Another good name in the corner room would be Tyreek Stevenson out of Miami. He obviously would be a state homer boy, but he ran a 4.45, looking like you could probably get him late second round.
Apparently, Cam Smith from South Carolina visited us today as one of our top 30 or one of our top 30 visits.
Yeah.
And Deontay Banks would be pretty sweet out of Maryland. He's a thumper. He's 6 foot 197 and ran a 4.35. Dude's insane. He can play safety, slot corner, or corner outside. And I'd love to see him in Jacksonville. He's a strong, fast player. Even Garrett Williams, for a dude who's only 5'10", I mean, he ran a 4.5 flat. He's a little slower, but he plays bigger than he is, and he's 192 at 5'10", so he's pretty stout running that 4.5. Even Eli Ricks potentially, if we can get him in the third round. I mean, it's just kind of one of those things where you never really know until draft day. But yeah, it's just hard to see us getting any of those top ones without trading, giving up some major draft capital.
Yeah. And I think the ultimate goal for the Jags is just kind of letting the pieces fall where they may and not overspending draft capital wise on players unless they absolutely have like a bead on who's going to be the most able to help the team immediately. That's the secret to the secret sauce to the Jags draft this season.
Oh, good Lord. Do we have time? Oh, actually, let me see here.
Speaking of the draft, folks, while Isaiah's doing his thing, we're going to try to go live during the first round of the draft. So look out for that.
We added three voidable years to Jenkins' contract, so potentially he might be back next season.
Yeah, but isn't he like 33?
Rayshon Jenkins? Something like 28, 29.
Let's just check that. I'm not saying that you're wrong. I just don't know.
He is 29.
Okay. So he could be around.
Yeah, it just depends.
But there are people out there who think you should prepare for the future a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
And that leads us to our third and final position of the evening, safety. Obviously, there are a couple names on here, Jordan Battle and Brian Branch, both out of the University of Alabama. They're, at least on this site, they're touted as two of the top three. And then Antonio Johnson from Texas A&M being the one between them. I think there's probably a few pretty good safeties you could get here.
You just go with JL Skinner. Nobody will throw over the top of us. He's 6'4" at safety.
Yeah, and he's 21.
The Megatron of safeties.
Yeah, he really is. 4'5", 40.
Really not a lot of depth at the safety position.
No. So I think you got to go see that. This is why I think it's important to do this. It kind of shapes the draft for us, and it'll kind of make it a little clearer who's going to go where. So if safety is a big target for the Jaguars, they're probably going to go safety as early as possible. So like getting a Brian Branch or one of these top three guys.
Yeah, he's been mocked to us a couple times. I could see it. He could play slot, so that's something that he could advantage. I mean, the one thing though is, people complain about Trey Herndon, talking about how he can't keep up with anybody when he plays slot. You got dudes like Brian Branch running the 4.58. I mean, no matter how good his technique is, there's slot receivers that they're just going to burn the shit out of him, and that's just how it is. Yeah. But I know that at his pro day, of course, the Jaguars DB coach did pull him aside and was like showing him some press techniques and stuff like that and having him do some drops. So you never really know. but again, it's just kind of one of those things that he's going to be a mid to late first rounder. Uh, Everybody else is, you know, second, third. It's just like dropping quickly after that. So we'll just
Well,
have to
Jordan
see.
Battle. Jordan Battle is actually from Fort Lauderdale, so he would be a homer pick, essentially for the Jags. He ran a 4.55 as well, 6'1", 209,
Yeah.
and they have him projected as a late second.
Yeah, I mean, if we were picking, if we were going strong safety to replace Rayshon Jenkins, I'd be down for Jordan Battle. If we could get him, of course, at the right price, I mean, at 56, I'm not really sure. I mean, if we could afford to move back a little bit, awesome. That's early third rounder, at 73 and a half. So, I mean, is that the C? But
Yeah,
I'd be okay moving back a little bit, or even potentially snagging him at 56 if we, grab either a guard or something of need in the first round.
yeah,
Um, but again, that's kind of where you run into needing to trade back to get everybody you want, and of course, you never get who you want. So we'll
yeah.
see.
Well, not always anyway. I mean, I was banging the table last year for Damian Pierce to be a Houston Texan. This year, it's Hendon Hooker. I don't think Hendon Hooker's going to be a Texan. I don't feel like there's a big enough opportunity for it, honestly. But
I've guessed a lot of draft picks over the past like few years, like Josh Allen. I guessed that one because I said the Chargers were going to pass on him, and then they did, and then we picked him, and then we got him, and then I was like, okay, well, Juwan Taylor fell for some reason. We're going to pick him up in the second round, and sure enough, picked him up. Then the next year, I called Henderson before they even started doing draft talks because I like Florida, and I was like, well, that'd be awesome if he was there. Didn't call Chase on. Glad I didn't call that one. That's
yeah,
fucking great.
I
Um,
remember when Tunsil was getting drafted and he got into that trouble like the day before the draft or whatever.
yeah,
I was
stupid.
like, this guy will be a Houston Texan. I just have a feeling. And he didn't get drafted there, but he did get traded for two first
He
round
sure
draft
did.
picks to become a Texan. There's always like random players at each draft where I'm like, I just have a feeling that he would look good in the Texans uniform. And
Hmm.
then after their contract expires, they usually get traded to the Texans or, whatever. Not the point.
But
But
yeah,
I think that's kind of going to do us for tonight's episode, folks. Isaiah, do you have anything else? So, like, all right, with everything we talked about tonight, what position of the top three that we talked about would you prefer go after in the first round?
corner.
Okay.
Because like as
Uh,
of right now, water covers 2/3 of the earth, and Tyson Campbell covers the rest.
Shut the hell up.
So it'd be really awesome if Tyson Campbell could just focus on a sixth of the Earth's surface, and then we have somebody else focus on a sixth, and that way we get the whole coverage going with that one guy doing it all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, that'd be great. But
So that lends
it,
itself to ask second round safety?
yeah. So my perfect draft. Of course, this isn't gonna happen. Um, I would say first round if we are able to get a good corner. Um, I'm thinking Joey Porter Jr. or Deontay Banks in the first round. And Deontay Banks would be a reach, but I don't really care. Oh, no, my bad. Yeah, no, that's the one. That's the one. Yeah, Joey Porter Jr. Deontay Banks. I don't think Deontay Banks would be a pick in the first round. I think we trade back for that one, but that's not the point. Preferably Joey Porter Jr. Second round, you know, man, that's a tough one. Yeah, second round, I'd say Jordan Battle. Even though he's not a guy that can really play slot, he's a guy that can back up and potentially take over for Rayshon Jenkins, who's not only had injury history, but also had a couple games where he has been tossed out of. So that's cool. Whatever. And then third round, if we were able to snag like Andrew Voorhees or potentially even fourth round, like that Zavala kid out of NC State. I think that'd be like a perfect way to start the draft. But again, I don't get paid enough money or work for the organization to know what I'm talking about. So I'm just a random fat guy on YouTube who likes the Jaguars. But yeah, no, I'd say, corner first round, safety second round, and guard third round, I think we'd be freaking chilling.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, folks, you heard it here first on Duval Thursdays. Leave us a comment if you have anything you would do differently, and be good people.